everyone just stops talking.
Yeah. Let me just make sure it popped up on my channel so people can watch from the league.
Yeah, I
Yep,
just
there it
got the
is.
notifications.
Oh, you're subscribed to my channel? I'm honored.
Yeah, I'm a big fan, man.
Let's see if I can put a thumbnail on it while I'm streaming. I haven't actually tried doing that yet.
I'm not sure if I have like 5 videos up for me when me and Packers tried playing, but I kept messing up, so I kept putting
Hey, I
links in.
can. Look at that.
I think I have like 5 different streams of one game.
There we go. Let's put a thumbnail on it. Let me post this in NFL Network. Alright, so what we're gonna do first, the mock draft, right? First?
Yeah, what's up?
Yeah.
Let's see. So, this is... A couple things came up, so we're gonna change a lot of these for the next version. Like, we didn't realize that the Giants already said that they were taking Ed Oliver. And then the Dolphins said right after we were done making it that he wasn't going to be taking any D linemen, so there's going to be a lot of changes in the next one, but... Hello? Anyone there?
Yeah.
I am.
Alright.
Yeah.
Also, the Cardinals are gonna win out, so their draft position is gonna go down. So you'll probably get Greg Little.
Yeah, I might win
start
one or two more by the end of the season, but...
I hope so.
Let's see. So let's just go by this one by one. Oh, we have 5 people watching right now, jeez.
It's all of us.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Lions.
YouTube doesn't know
They're
that,
going,
it's fine.
Lions, they're probably gonna have the worst record in the league.
Yeah, let's see.
Number 1 overall
Yeah, let me just pull up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the end of the schedule is not very friendly, considering they have, the 3 best, arguably the 3 best teams in their division.
Yeah,
So,
I think
I'm pretty sure
the
he's, like, a couple
Lions number
division
1
games.
pick and Giants number 2 pick are locks at this point.
Oh yeah, for sure. They don't have a lot of momentum going their way either, so,
Yo, Brainiac, what's up?
But yeah, me and the Bills decided that they'd end up taking Nick Bosa.
Yeah,
Ugly.
they got
Yeah.
since they traded Ziggy Ansah, their pass rush is super weak.
Yeah,
so
he's
they
complaining
They
about
traded
his
Ziggy
top
Ansah? Really?
Yeah,
Yeah, he
beginning of the season
traded him
because he was a massive cap hit and he's like 30-something years old now.
And they turned to
makes sense.
Cleveland.
Yeah, he sent him
Who
to
fell off
Cleveland.
the face of the earth.
Yeah,
Well, their user, he needed to take a break, but he was doing well. I think he has a wild card spot still. At least the team does.
Oh really? It's because the AFC's weak.
Okay.
Then 2, we originally had the Giants taking Drew Lock, but he's probably going to take Ed Oliver.
Yeah, I don't know. You said Marcus likes Drew Lock better than all the other quarterbacks.
He's pretty compared to the other quarterbacks. He's high in Drew Lock.
Even still, I don't think any of these guys are really 74 or above.
Yeah, I think he
None
said he
of
was low
them-
on all of them.
They're all like, I think the highest is a 72. Like, he's low on all of them.
He made it clear that all of them were going to be at best mediocre in this class. So, he's pretty harsh on these quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and plus I think the Giants are committed to Tyrod now at this point after they traded for him.
Yeah. I mean, it's always a nice quarterback class, so,
Mhm.
Best available player,
But since we didn't give Ed all over to the Giants, we ended up giving him to the Jets, who are picking number 3 overall, which was more just a best available pick, kind of best available player kind of pick.
I think
Yeah,
if
you can't really pass up on Ed Oliver.
I think if Ed Oliver's gone, the Jets might address offensive line to get the offense going more, probably. That or actually get
Yeah.
AJ Brown instead of the Bills.
Yeah.
Because Darnold needs some kind of help.
You're
I
gonna
don't know
steal
if the
that
Jets
boy,
really need a
Greg
wide
Will
receiver,
from the
though.
Cardinals.
Actually, no, they traded Robbie Anderson, so they might actually wide receiver might
Oh
actually be
yeah,
an
they
issue for
did,
them.
huh?
Yeah, I think wide receiver is a big need for him. I mean, his
Yeah, he's
offense
got-
is pretty low overall,
He's
I'm
got
pretty sure.
Nunwa, but after that, he doesn't really have anything.
And if Nunua's your number 1 receiver, you got a big time problem on your hands.
So then fourth overall, I mean, we have Greedy Williams going to the Seahawks.
Yeah, I played the Seahawks and he was complaining about his secondary, so I think Greedy Williams seems like a realistic choice.
In the
Yeah.
NFC West chat, he made it clear that we were probably not going to go for the same players, so I think my needs are different from his. So.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Shaquille Griffin, but after that, he doesn't have much there at cornerback, so.
Yeah, Justin Coleman,
Yeah.
more of a nickel guy, so, you know.
Mhm.
You can have a nice cornerback tandem.
And the Cardinals pick next, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's projected, but trust me, I'm going to win out.
Yeah. And we have
Cardinals. How do you feel about
Greg
this?
Little going to the Cardinals.
I would like to take Greg Little. However, I know Falcons might be a tough game. Not really sure. I hope the Rams get lucky again. Seahawks, instant L. I mean, W. So, I mean, I think my draft position is going to go down some, unfortunately. But I'm going to take best available, hopefully, because I have holes in my team, aside from, like, David Johnson. So, you know.
Hey,
Yeah.
Cardinals. Could you lower your mic volume a little bit? It's just a
Yeah,
little bit
it's a little
loud compared to everybody
No,
else's.
yeah, my last mic it made it low, so I didn't understand how, I don't know how this is going to be. I can do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Next
what do we got?
overall, it's the Bills, and I would have loved to get Greg Little. But since I didn't get him, I will select AJ Brown because wide receiver is also a big need for me.
Good pick. Isn't Jonah Williams the offensive tackle? He's pretty good as well. I've seen him go up for Little.
I'm pretty sure I'm only not selecting him because TFGO is lower on him, and I don't know if he's worth an early first. But so I would consider trading down. But right now, if I picked right here, it would be probably AJ Brown.
How good is the tackle depth this year? Outside of
After-
the first round, too, like second round, third round.
It's not really good. It's a decent class, like it's better than last year's class, but it's not amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, number 8 overall, we had the Chargers picking Raekwon Davis. I mean, we haven't really heard much of him, but you know, we looked
Yeah,
at
that
his
was
team
that
and-
was definitely more of a best available because the Chargers
Yeah.
don't have a lot of holes.
Well, I would say that defensive tackle is a little bit of a hole for them compared to the rest of the roster. But Devin White's another guy that could easily go there. IMO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I didn't want a linebacker there because all their guys are decent and they're all young, so they haven't reached their ceiling yet. So.
This is true.
Yeah.
So then we send Devin White to the Steelers with the 9th overall pick. I don't know if the Steelers will end up picking him.
He
though.
made it clear that he was looking for either Greedy Williams or Devin White, but you know, since he fleeced the Cardinals out of Patrick Peterson, I think he'd be going Devin White with this pick.
Once I fleeced, I might get a good pick with that second round. Might use the future second as trade bait for this class.
All right, bro.
So.
Wait,
There you
Kiko
go.
Alonso is on the Steelers? What? When did that happen?
There was a bunch of
Kiko
trades
Alonso.
for subpar linebackers in the middle of the season.
I traded Kiko Alonso, I think, for a 4th.
Oh, alright. Fair enough. Let's see. Then 10th overall, we have the Chiefs picking Trayvon Mullen, cornerback.
Yeah, the Chiefs user is also new. We don't really know, but
Yeah.
You know.
You know the Chiefs are
Defense
weak
It's
at
a pretty
cornerback, though.
obvious hole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just figured
Got
it would be a
Kendall Fuller.
defense pick and best defense available pick
Yeah.
because their offense is set.
11th overall, we had the Buccaneers taking Cleveland Farrell. You know, Vinny Curry and JPP are very old, and I think, you know, edge would make sense. Cleveland Farrell's a
Do we
beast.
have a Buccaneers user currently? I know APK had to dip a while back, but
Yes, we do. We've had one for a while. He doesn't talk much though. What's his
You know,
name?
APK is the new Falcons, so.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, he came
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
He's the Falcons now.
Oh, oh, okay. What the heck?
A little switcheroo action.
Who is this guy? And then, you know, it makes a lot of sense.
The
Bad boy
Buccaneers
from the
user, he's
Bayou.
been around for most of the season. I think it was almost right after APK dropped out. Where is he? I'm looking through our users right now.
Was he?
Fender.
I thought the Bucks it was kind of vacant for a while.
There for maybe a few weeks, but the
Okay.
current user's been there for a while.
Alright.
Alright, at 12 overall, you know, we had the Patriots taking Justin Herbert out of Oregon. I mean, you know, TFG's made it clear that he's not high on the quarterbacks, but I think Tom Brady's going to retire after a losing season.
yeah, it makes
QB's
sense. You
just-
probably got
Yeah, I don't think
Right.
Tom Brady would be happy with missing the playoffs.
Yeah, so, you know, it's just too big of a hole. And, you know, picking this early for the Patriots, it's, you know, likely not going to happen again, so I think you address QB while you can.
Kind of circles back to the Patriots getting only a second for Jimmy Garoppolo. You know, kind of raises that question a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
mm,
Alright. So 13th overall. Wait. There's a mistake in
Yeah,
this mock.
13th.
We have Josh Allen going twice, but that's something
Oh,
we'll deal with
what?
later.
Nice.
So 13th overall, we're having Josh Allen go to the Rams because pass rush is probably their only hole.
yeah, that would make that pass rush insane.
Yeah.
And it's already insane. But yeah.
You just had the other Josh Allen re-declare for the draft because he hates the Bills that much.
I wouldn't be
Uh.
surprised. No, I'm joking.
It's fine. We don't have him
Bills.
going again until 32 to the Packers, so like it's fine.
Yeah, that we're just gonna act like that never happened. So.
So 14th overall, we have the Eagles taking Trey Lamar, linebacker.
I don't know much about Trey Lamar, so I can't.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
neither
don't
do
know.
I.
I don't know a lot about him either. I just know that linebackers.
I don't know a lot about this Eagles user either.
You know, I just saw his name in one mock. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, same. Titans, number 15. We have him taking N'Keal Harry. Is that how you pronounce the name?
Yeah, that's how
I
it
think
is.
so.
Alright, well, yeah, I don't know. I don't know much about the Titans, but apparently his receivers, you know,
Yeah, he was
he
complaining
doesn't
about
like
his
his
receivers.
receivers.
He
So-
didn't.
But you know,
Yeah.
being honest, being in this division, he's gonna need a bit more than a receiver. So it doesn't make
okay.
a difference.
Really?
Well, yeah, I mean, he also
Yeah.
needs a receiver because after Corey Davis and Des Bryant, who's getting up there, he doesn't have really anyone, so he needs to draft.
He signed
Des
Des Bryant?
probably.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the one that got Des Bryant.
Oh. Oh, interesting.
Nice.
You should probably draft a whole new defense after giving up 50 to the Texans.
Jesus Christ.
Damn.
But, you know, it's whatever.
Let's see. So next, Redskins, 16th overall. We don't really. He doesn't talk a lot, so we don't really know what he wants. So we just had him picking Michael Dieter, a guard. It's pretty high
That's a
on
good pick.
Steffi's board.
Makes it one of the better offensive line units in the league.
Yeah, okay, the Jaguars, I'll let you, you can say your pick.
Dude. I was talking to Flynn in the boardroom a while ago, and I was saying, you know, I don't really want a quarterback this year. I'm just going to fill up on weapons and get a quarterback next year.
Oh, I forgot about that.
But if he's
honestly.
there like the second round, sure. But I don't think I'm going to take a quarterback in the first round, man.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, we have him
willing to-
taking Will Greer at 17th overall. I mean, so
Mm.
yeah, I don't know.
The weird,
I just
weird
figured
part is
Blake
Bortles actually
Bortles is
plays
terrible, so.
Yeah, Blake Bortles is pretty bad. In a division with, quarterbacks just loaded, I think, I don't know. Just do your thing, bro. Dolphins, you're in the chat, you can tell your pick to the audience.
Well, my pick was gonna be hold on, I'm not on it. So can somebody say that for it?
Derek Brown,
Derek Brown.
defensive tackle.
Derek Brown, defensive tackle. I'm probably not looking to take a defensive tackle first round, so I'm throwing this one out the window.
Yeah, this one.
Honestly, I'm looking for interior defensive line with Daniel Kilgore pushing 30, dislocated his hip this year, and no starting caliber right guards. I really think I need interior offensive line in this next draft. Also with Josh Sitton up around 32 years old, I think interior offensive line in the first round is probably where I'm going with this. If I had to name a guy off the top of my head, I'd probably say Cody Ford out of Oklahoma. Plays tackle there, 6'3", 330, should transition well to the NFL. If he's available at this spot, I might take him.
All right. I don't think we have him at all on the first round mock, but we'll see. Next we have the Raiders' the first pick, because they have 2 first rounders. T.J. Edwards, linebacker. He's pretty decent. We figured that linebacker and cornerback were probably the Raiders' biggest holes, so.
The Panthers at 20, we had them taking DeAndre Baker, Georgie's corner. This was more of like best available, because DeAndre Baker falling to 20 is pretty absurd, and cornerback, it's not the biggest need, but it is a need.
Well, they got some young guys, but
He's been complaining about his corners, I think, so.
Yeah, I mean, if DeAndre Baker's at 20, I think you take him regardless. If you ever not.
Let's see. Next we got the Falcons taking Dexter Lawrence. I don't know a lot about this guy, but Falcons need defensive guys.
Oh yeah, Dexter Lawrence used more of a 3-4 defensive tackle, but I think playing behind Grady Jarrett and on the Falcons,
it's gonna leave a lot of 1v1s for Jared if he can take up a couple guys.
I agree. That's.
Yo, the Falcons got KJ Wright.
Yeah, they traded.
Didn't hear about that.
Yeah, former Falcons got one of the fast linebackers, so I don't know if KJ Wright's that fast though. So.
Nah, KJ Wright's slow as hell. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, at number 22, you had the Browns taking Marvin Tell, for safety out of USC. I mean, I don't know, like Browns kind of stopped talking after a while, and I don't really know much about him.
He's retiring from the league, so we don't have a Browns user right now.
Oh, is he really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He's taking a step back because of family issues.
Okay.
Alright, well. Whoever this new Browns user is, he's not having mock taking Marvin Tell, so. No.
Do we have a new Browns user?
Not right now. I think they're the only open team right now, actually.
Okay.
So next overall we have the Ravens taking Deebo Samuel, because they really need a deep threat. And the Ravens users kind of been complaining about his receivers this year, so figured if he's there, they'll take him.
Yeah. At 24 overall, we had the Colts taking Mac Wilson, a linebacker out of Alabama. I mean,
Yeah, it's a pretty obvious pick.
he's a glaring need at linebacker. I mean, he's got Darius Leonard, but outside of that, it's just a bunch of guys. I feel like Mac.
They're running a 3-4 right now, right?
Yeah, I want to say they're 4-3
know.
actually.
Yeah, they're 4-3 because they got sheared at edge, I'm pretty sure.
If they're a 3-4, this is a weird roster for how many guys he has at each position. Okay, he's got 4 defensive tackles. It's got to be a 4-3.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Where are we? Oh, 25. We have the Broncos taking... Do you know how to pronounce this?
I know.
Ross Pierce
Pierschbacher.
Pierschbacher.
The most
Yeah,
German
sounds like
name
a
I've ever
Broncos.
seen. I don't know, it's more of just he needs to fix his offensive line and his guys are getting up there kind of pick. I don't know.
Yeah, it makes sense. Bolster up the offensive line, just kind of run the ball till you can get a quarterback next year.
Case Keenum's not the answer, clearly.
Obviously, yeah.
Alright, at 26, on the Vikings, I decided to take Noah Fant. I mean, like, I don't really like Kyle Rudolph, and, you know, it's just like,
Well, neither does TFG, so yeah.
yeah, okay.
He's only 79. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know he was low on him, but
Yeah, he's 77 speed. Like, he's gonna get no separation.
good
Yeah.
pick.
Thank you.
Let's see, who's next?
Raiders, the Bears pick.
Oh, Bears pick. All right. You
It's wait.
What's-
Yeah, it's the Raiders, right? From the
It's Raiders
Bears?
from
Let me
what-
double
Yeah,
check.
from the Bears. I've got it right here. It's the Raiders from the Bears.
Oh yeah, okay. We have him picking
We had him
Lucas
picking-
Dennis,
Yeah.
safety. Figure
Filling one of the
safety's
many
in.
needs the Raiders have.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah,
glaring
Raiders
hole.
defense is non-existent after they
Yeah,
traded
their starting
Khalil
free
Mack.
safety is 35 years old, and 74 overall. So
Mm.
I think Lucas Dennis would add a lot of speed and playmaking to this very old Raiders defense. At 28, we had the Bengals taking Trey Adams out of Washington. That's my boy.
Looks like a bit of a desperation pick here.
Yeah.
you think
but I
you're
mean,
saying
the
this is a reach?
Bengals,
I don't
like-
think this is a reach in the late first.
Like the Bengals do have a need at lineman though. Like. it's-
Oh yeah, their starting right
I think-
tackle is 67.
Yeah, he messaged me about Ben Jones, Brett Jones, and I decided to keep him, but it seems like he's pretty desperate for an offensive lineman. I think a reach at this position wouldn't be too far-fetched, in my opinion.
I mean, he already has the offense going, so I guess with improved offensive line, and he can only get so much more deadly. So you know, I think more offensive line would just improve his offense even more. So
Yeah.
All right, 49ers. We don't really know, like, this. We're starting to get to the point where we don't know many of the prospects, so we're having a pick Juwan Thornhill, a cornerback. Just figured Richard Sherman replaced
Juwan or
him.
Juan?
Juan, I think.
He said Juwan.
sure.
I thought he said
yeah.
Joanne.
Looks like a youth pick, I guess, considering Sherman's age, but they're not. It's not a big haul. But yeah, since we're running out of prospects, good pick.
You had the Cowboys at 30 taking Caleb Wilson, tight end. I mean, I don't know much about this guy. I don't know much about the Cowboys, but I know that their tight end is a 72 overall.
Yeah, Jason Witt
His
replacement.
defense is kind of loaded, so just like I guess more weapons for Dak Prescott.
But will it
Do we know
help
what
is
the
the question.
Cowboys user thinks of Dak?
They need to get rid of Dak. Please
Yeah,
don't sign
well.
Dak. Brainiac is here. Brainiac, please don't sign Dak.
Yeah, let him go to a team in need of a quarterback like the Jaguars. You know.
No, just
So
get
we
him
can
out
check
of
down
the
even better than Bortles.
Yes.
Yeah,
Precisely.
I wish he'd check down. He'd actually have a completion percentage if he did.
Oof.
we got Texans at 31 taking Andre Dillard. I mean, I don't know much about this guy, but you know,
Offensive
Texans
tackle.
Have... Yeah, but you know, I don't really. I don't even know what
Yeah.
college he goes
He's from Washington State.
to. Oh, wow. Wow.
That's all I know.
Well, he's from Washington
6'5".
State, that's all we know.
6'5", 310.
Well, he's pretty much
tank.
guaranteed to be better than their current left tackle, or even right tackle. So,
I mean, after trading Dwayne Brown to Seattle, I think offensive line is his biggest hole. Makes sense.
He was a Pac-12, all Pac-12 honorable mention in 2017.
Dude, how do I not know about this guy? Damn.
Alright, and last but not least, we have the Packers. 32 overall, going with Josh Allen, even though we already had him going to the Rams earlier.
They're just sharing Josh Allen every other game.
Yeah.
They're taking Josh Allen, the quarterback.
Yeah.
He didn't want to be on the
Yeah.
Bills,
It's
so
they're actually them
left the
trading their
NFL
pick
for a
to the
year.
Bills for Josh Allen.
They ran out of cheerleaders because the Packers, it's the weather's so shitty and cold up there. So Josh Allen's putting on his best makeup and going and cheering for the Packers over there. And the better
and
northern team,
he's wearing shorts.
of course.
Oh,
Josh
yeah.
Allen looks
Everyone
great.
fall in love with him. Just,
Shorts.
just put him in shorts.
His hands are so big, he'll be able to
Sounded
grip
like
a pom-pom so easily.
talking about quarterbacks in shorts.
I don't know. I feel like Rodgers' interception ratio would just go up just from Josh Allen being in the same building. So I don't know if it's the best move for the Packers.
Wait, since when is Josh Allen interception prone?
He's on the Bills, so that just makes him automatically susceptible to interceptions. I mean, dude, if Tom Brady went to the
He's hurt
Bills,
right
he
now,
instantly becomes
so.
an interception machine. That's all I'm saying. I
Josh
said Tom Brady's
Allen-
not assistant quarterback, but it's like
Josh
the
Allen
opposite
is
of
an
the
interception
Patriots.
Bills would probably be on the IR right now.
No, Josh Allen's an interception machine. He's got 2 touchdowns, 5 interceptions this year, and he's hurt.
I know, he needs to take a lesson from Peterman. You know.
Whoa, calm down.
Dang.
Nate Peterman's all of Famer. There should
Bro,
be a
honestly,
Hall of Fame.
Jaguars, I don't know why you
Hall of
haven't
Fame.
traded for Peterman yet, dude. I'm just saying.
Dude, that would
He's a real
break the
threat.
league. No, we
Honestly,
couldn't
that
allow
would
that
be
in the
enough.
LO. That would break the league.
I mean, he's still in the AFC. You're not. Oh my god. I'm
It would
just
be
glad
an
I'm in the
instant
NFC
Super
right
Bowl
now.
for me, man. Come on.
You should just
You
start
gotta
Kurt
let
Benkert.
it.
Honestly,
I didn't
Kurt
know who that
Benkert.
is.
Honestly,
The
it's
best film I've ever watched was Kurt Benkert versus Miami last year.
Yeah,
The
but how many
best
games did
quarterback
you
film
watch?
I've ever watched. I watched his whole season.
Not. Alright,
man.
and then
I watched
explain
all his
away the
offensive
59
stats.
overall.
You should get a
I
steal
don't make the
contract
roster.
like Bears did with Mike Glennon. You know, play him for like 4 games, let him do complete ass, then start your mediocre caliber rookie. That's what you should do. You know.
Mediocre caliber. That's even stretching it a little
Yeah,
bit.
you're right. You're right. I've got Mike Glennon right here if you want him. I'm just saying. He's a strong
Well,
arm.
he's overall
Lions
even
should
in
Lions
freaking
should just
TFG's
start
roster.
Brad Kaya next game.
Mm.
Hey, it might get him a win.
Yeah, I still think if we're trying to be completely realistic, the Cardinals need to cut Sam Bradford to save that cap, don't you think?
Well, yeah, but
Listen,
we can't
man.
force them to cut him.
You're just trying to take Sam Bradford, bro. And at this point,
Why
I'm gonna do it just in spite of you, bro. That's all I'm saying.
We
Alright,
can't
man.
force anybody to cut anybody here.
Listen,
Yeah, honestly,
Sam Bradford's gonna cut himself if anything, because you know he trips all the time. He gets his knees all screwed up. He's pretty vulnerable to cuts, just not mine.
why didn't you guys try to trade Bradford?
I did.
Dude,
I
I
was
did.
open to trading Bradford the whole. Dude, remember the beginning of the season before you
I
traded Dante
messaged
Fowler?
you. I
I was
DM'd you
like-
about it, like 2 weeks before the league actually started. And
Yeah.
you said, yeah, you were thinking about it.
Yeah, and then we talked about for Dante Fowler and stuff like that, and some like I gave you like a high pick or something like that. But you're like, oh shit, sorry. Don't go
No
underneath my chair,
way.
puppy. Anyways,
no way. For Sam Bradford, you wanted Dante
Dude,
Fowler in a pick?
I was gonna give him a
Chances
pick.
are I probably
gonna
would have done it too.
I would have
Alright.
supplemented
Oh
it with
my
a
God.
pick. He was desperate, and
I
I was gonna
was
give him. I
desperate.
was gonna give him a pick, and I was because it's not
super
like Marcus
desperate.
Golden's gonna get 20 sacks or anything, you know?
Sam Bradford has 69 injury.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
77 overall, alright,
but
that's-
it's better, dude. I'm telling you, if it's
He can
69,
throw
it's
the
gotta be good
ball.
for something, right? That's all I'm saying.
Oh,
He's kind
you're
of cute.
funny guy,
Look at his
funny guy.
look at his player picture. He's kind of cute too. That's all I'm saying. He brings a lot more attractiveness to the locker room than Blake
And
Bortles
like,
does.
Well,
Blake
then you can
Bortles
make
is like
him
a
a
drunk
cheerleader.
dad.
kind of way, maybe, but yeah.
I mean,
It's
I'm sure if you start
kinda
Sam Bradford, he's gonna do better than Josh Rosen and his 29 interceptions.
Honestly, Blake Bortles
That's what
kinda
I'm
looks like a rapist
saying.
Dude,
when you look at the
listen.
picture.
I'm just saying, in these final games, the only positive about me winning out is that Josh Rosen's gonna replicate his like 5 touchdown performance last game and tear up
Are you
the
gonna cut
fucking-
David Johnson too? He hasn't even hit
Dude.
600 yards yet.
Dude, no one on my team is. Well, he's missed like 4 games, but it's my O line. Okay, so I got a 77. Mike Iupati's a 77 is his best stats run blocking, but he plays like a 60 overall. I get like 10
3.3
holds a
yards per
game.
carry.
Yeah,
3.3
I know.
yards per
It's a
carry.
big time problem, but
Josh
it's all
Rosen's
on Josh
fumbled
Rosen.
6 times.
he gets sacked a lot too, because Andre Smith is actually a cancer in the locker room. You know,
Dude,
that's
I don't think you're even close to me as far as
You must be a D-line user.
No, no. Look, all my interceptions come from linebackers. Like Hassan Reddick and John Buchanan are both up there for linebacker awards, but they
So you
split
don't know how to
interceptions.
hide
Okay,
point
but
pass.
Marcus
Almost-
Golden has 21 sacks, Chandler Jones has 15.5, and Robert Nkemdiche has 11 from the inside.
I
Buda
know. But what do
Baker
you
has
think?
4.5.
It's called coverage sacks, and people forget that aggressive pass rush exists. That's all I'm saying. Plus, I play teams with ass O lines. I mean,
just hike the ball
all my
once,
picks
like,
come
one
from
play,
users.
play.
If you look at them, that's all I'm saying. If you look at my film, all my picks come from users, which is very unfortunate.
Alright, are we gonna... You wanna move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Alright, let's keep this going.
Next session was we were going to bring in, we're just going to bring actually Cardinals to talk about
Yeah.
your actually
My
we
future
kind of
and
were
stuff
on
like
that
that.
already. Your season and stuff and the draft and
Yeah,
everything.
Basically, we got a lot of holes here. Tackle is a big time problem. Maybe interior lineman too, because my run game has been horrible. Josh Rosen has to pass it every game. Receiver is a problem. Larry's probably going to retire. He's asking for a lot of money if he doesn't. For defense, my interior line is doing pretty bad. Marcus Golden has 20 sacks but can't contain the run to save his life, and he's also not coming back to the team after a stellar year. So he does not want to
You're
resign.
not gonna sign Golden after a 20
He
sack
did not.
season?
He refused. I gave him an offer a little bit better than the average, like, you know, for what his overall
Well,
is.
then-
And he was like,
then
nah,
just
bro, your
like
team
that.
sucks.
Franchise his
Franchise
ass.
him.
Bro, you could
No,
actually...
that's way too much cap, bro. That's way too much cap. I'm trying to
Okay.
splurge in the offseason.
Yeah,
you think
too
my
much
main
cap,
concern is
bro,
Marcus
what?
Golden?
You can't
you
franchise
think-
tag a 75 overall defensive end.
77.
I mean, he just came off 20 sacks, though. So, I mean, you could.
20 sacks, bro.
Well, then just use the player review on him, man. He'll get boosted.
No,
Yeah,
I
that's
was,
what
but
I'm
I can't
saying.
re-sign him. But I can't re-sign him, so I'm not gonna player review him for someone else to take him up. I'm gonna player review Ikemdiche probably, and then somebody else who Buda
Itchy.
Baker's doing all right. Yeah, whatever his name is, I don't really care. I literally only bring him in on passing situations, and he gets
You
tons
should
of sacks.
player review Josh Rosen. Most interceptions this season.
Bro, listen, man.
We're
He's
gonna go
gonna
down
come
a couple
back.
overall.
He's gonna
49
come- bro,
he'll go
interceptions
down.
in one
He-
season.
He's gonna come back.
They're gonna player review him
half
and
his
he's gonna
interceptions
go
against
down.
the pack. If you look at the film, dude, he gets no separation. Jermaine Gresham, he got picked off by Clay Matthews in man coverage. That's all I'm saying. His receivers get no separation at all. His line's been pretty bad.
Sounds
No
like a you
running
problem.
game. He's what? I don't think it's Josh Rosen's fault that his receivers can't, you know, get at least 2 steps between him and the corners at all. It's pretty ridiculous.
You can't be- you
I
can't be
think
throwing
I think you
7
can
picks
chalk
a
this one
game.
up to user error.
You know, okay,
Yeah.
a lot of them are user errors after like panning and stuff like that, and once I get tilted, it does become a lot worse. However, I'm just saying, next year's a bounce back year. NFC West is trash, and I'm the king of it. 49ers.
You know what I think?
What?
Wait,
What?
hold on.
Something is
Hold on,
really
hold on,
funny.
hold on.
Go ahead.
You just called yourself the king of trash.
Yeah, obviously, because I'm not. I mean, listen, I got only so much to work with, but I will be the king of the garbage division. All right, I will rule that division like.
No, hold
Garbage
on.
man.
Be that one dude that
AFC
gets in the
East is the
playoffs
worst
at
division in
8-8.
football. AFC
blown
East
out
is the
in the
worst
first
division in
round.
football right now.
Listen, I'm gonna argue this right now. If I'm gonna have something, it's the worst division. I gotta be the best in something, and that's the
We have
worst.
3 teams with 9 losses or more.
Yeah.
I don't know,
Okay.
man. The AFC East
Seahawks
is
have
pretty
10.
At
bad.
one point, the
Rams
Dolphins
is
were
on
leading the
pace.
division with a 5-6 record.
Rams
7
has the
and 6.
best
That's
roster in
off.
the league, and he's 5-7. All right, and I think a couple of those are forced wins. I'm not really sure. Seahawks is 3-10. 49ers is a fraud record. Maybe he is good. I'm not really sure. But every time I played him, he barely outbeat me. He got a little lucky. And he has a way better team than me. So I'm just saying, next year when I improve my team in the offseason, I'm splurging, by the way. Look out for some big-time moves.
So
I'm gonna
Phil Dawson.
Phil Dawson is the MVP of this damn team. Don't you
He
dare
really
bring up his
that's
name.
that's what I'm getting to. Hold on, Phil Dawson.
Who the hell is Phil Dawson?
He's kicked 40 something field goals and extra points combined.
Yeah, he's only missed a few game winners, but we don't talk about that.
Right. My kicker, Jason Sanders, has kicked
Yes, sir.
44 extra points.
You know, it's called drives ending way sooner than they should. You know, we get in the red zone and then blocking becomes an issue.
I assume you're talking about the 29 interceptions.
Well, you see, that might be a problem. That's one of the concerns of this team.
Maybe.
Turnovers might be a concern, you know.
One
But
might
however, we
say
had the most sacks in the
29
league.
interceptions
Last
is
time I
an issue.
checked, we had a sim game where we had no sacks, and we still might have the most sacks in the league. Let me check, actually. Easy. Coverage
No,
sacks.
you do have the most
times.
sacks. You have the most sacks in the league. I checked
Yeah,
it
and I
earlier.
had I had a sim game with no sacks, so just keep that in mind. So, you know, next
you
season's
think
gonna.
that there's dysfunction in the locker room? You know, with the defensive players getting pissed.
Josh
every
Rosen's
time
being an
they go
asshole.
on the field.
Listen, the defense
he
is,
brought a hot
while
tub
they
in
may
the
have a lot
locker
of
room,
sacks,
just
they are
sitting there.
not doing great by any means. Pass coverage is abysmal. Jamar Taylor is the only good corner, and he gets pass interference
After you
when it
traded
matters.
Pat Pete.
You know, well, the problem is I have so many holes. Pat Pete wasn't gonna be enough to justify keeping that many holes in the team. You know, if he was having
So
good value.
how do you justify trading Pat Pete for 2 seconds and
And Javon Hargrave, I did not want Javon Hargrave. His first game, he cost me a win against the 49ers.
for 2
So I got a user
seconds.
pick for a touchdown, and he called it back with roughing the passer. But I wanted Artie Burns. But anyways, I probably should have got more pick value than I got for Pat Pete. However, I felt as if there's too many holes in the team to justify having one star player and not just address more players, you know, and get more players in the team.
Yeah.
What
So I
team
feel like
did you trade him to?
Steelers, and I
Steelers.
knew that he was not going to do too
Steelers.
good. So his second round picks
he's
were pretty
leading
low.
the team in interceptions.
Yeah, he had 0 before I traded him. So
He's got 5
I'm just saying.
right now.
Now he had like 4 or 3 in one game against the Browns, I think.
Right. He's
but
got
anyways.
5 interceptions, 17 deflections.
The main problem with this defense
4
is
fumble recoveries.
I mean,
Listen,
I don't think anybody's arguing that.
Pat Pete has
Peterson
3
is,
pick sixes.
I am
I'll
aware
tell
that
you
Pat
that.
Pete is a good player. This is not new knowledge to me.
Right,
The
but
knowledge you're bringing to the
but
table,
when your
I've already known
quarterback
this.
isn't scoring touchdowns, don't you think somebody else should?
He scored 5 last game. Thank you very much. All right, I'll
Oh,
have you
so-
know he
So wait,
scored.
what you're telling me is that going into this game, Josh Rosen had like a 15 touchdown to 20 interception
He
ratio.
may have scored a third of his
And had
touchdowns that he
those
previously had
5
in one game.
And those the 5 touchdown performance just skewed where he normally
Man.
performs.
Okay, listen. You're making this way more logical than it needs to be. What you need to look at is the fact that he had 5 touchdowns. Don't look at the record of the other team or the fact that the Lions
I mean,
are
it's just one
abysmal.
game. Who'd you
Listen.
play?
Okay.
Oh, you played
I
the
don't know.
Lions.
I played the Packers actually.
Oh, you played the
that might have been a game
Packers?
I did good.
You know, that's You know what? I'll
At
give
one
Josh
point-
Rosen that. That's impressive,
one
and I better
point I played the
hope he
Packers.
sticks around.
Yeah,
You-
I mean, he should. Well, the problem is his confidence is a little dwindling right now. I mean, he got up a little bit after he threw like what 6 picks and 1 touchdown to 5 touchdowns, 1 pick. Anyways, receivers aren't really separate a whole
Hey,
lot.
whatever
He needs a lot
works,
of help.
man.
The run
Alright, I
defense
think that
is.
we should look at the positives on the Cardinals team. I mean,
Yeah,
what
let's
do you think,
stop let's stop the
Okay,
shit out of
so
Cardinals.
the-
Leading the leagues in
positives-
sacks. Next.
who's in
Okay,
Leading the
ready?
leagues in
Ready?
sacks. Next.
Buda Baker is having an amazing season, all right. Even though a couple of picks have been from my user, or whatever, he's doing a lot on his own, and he's one of the shining people that actually do man coverage well, despite being a safety. And he makes some great tackles and stuffs runs every once in a while because this team is horrible in the running game, so he helps out a little bit. He might be up for player review, even though he's an 83 overall. He wasn't in the beginning of the season, so he might be one of the considerations. Robert Nkemdiche has only been in their passing situations, but he has 11 or something like that sacks, right? He's doing great. He might be the next player review. So those players are improving. Deon Buchanan and Hassan Reddick are both playing great in coverage, even if one I'm not using, so they're doing pretty well. every other position in the defense is questionable. Traylon Jones is doing what he usually does. He's doing all right. Offensively, Jermaine Gresham might get benched for Ricky Seals-Jones because he gets no separation. Offensive line, the entire offensive line besides DJ Humphries, who does good because he holds, has been pretty bad. Justin Pugh's an 80, but plays like absolute garbage, along with the rest of my interior linemen. Everyone but DJ Humphries basically has been horrible. Pass protection's been mediocre at best. The run game has been really, really bad, and David Johnson gets no help. And all his yards come from falling forward, so that's a big time problem.
One of the I want to go back real quick to that. You benched Jermaine Gresham for Ricky Seals-Jones.
I'm going to. He hasn't been benched yet.
Oh, you're going to.
Yeah.
So what I'm looking at right now, is your stats. Jermaine Gresham and Ricky Seals-Jones both have exactly the same amount of receiving yards, the same amount of average receiving yards per game,
Do they really?
and the same amount of touchdowns.
Do they really?
Yes, the only thing separating Jermaine Gresham and Ricky Seals-Jones is that Jermaine Gresham has 8 more receptions, but Ricky Seals-Jones is averaging about 16.5 yards per reception.
Ricky Seals-Jones gets a lot of situations and plays where he has a lot more rack than Jermaine Gresham does, and he actually has speed unlike Jermaine Gresham. Jermaine Gresham's like a dead horse with usable hands.
I'll tell you what about that rack. It's less than a 1 yard difference. Ricky Seals-Jones' rack right now is 4.3 on average. Jermaine Gresham's is 3.2.
Well, it seems Rick.
It seems as though they're more even than you think.
Okay,
It
listen.
seems as though they're more even
Ricky
than you think.
Seals-Jones comes in on way less snaps. All right, if you look at his downs played, he comes in on
He's 200 less snaps.
699 snaps to 424.
Yeah,
That
about
means
250
they have
less.
a similar amount of snaps. But Ricky Seals-Jones gets the ball just as much as Jermaine Gresham because Jermaine Gresham is only open half the time that Ricky Seals-Jones is open. Jermaine Gresham gets no separation in man coverage and has a horrible time and makes horrible plays and turns the corner on routes that causes a lot of interceptions for Josh Rosen.
I'll tell you what, Jermaine Gresham is going to help you in one area of the team where you need it the most, and that's blocking. Jermaine Gresham is a way better blocker than Ricky Seals-Jones is. And unless you think you can develop that over the next couple of years, I don't see a reason to keep Ricky Seals-Jones around as a long-term...
I already signed him, so it's too late. Whatever you're saying right now,
Well,
I would just discard it, because Ricky Seals-Jones is one of the pass-catching tight ends that we need, and he's been doing pretty well, so I don't see any reason to not keep him around. And it's not like I can find a whole lot of other pass-catching tight ends.
Like
now.
every tight end in the league?
Okay, well, you think they're all just being
I'm
up
just
for
messing around.
offers?
Also,
I'm just messing around.
Gresham is
I mean,
30
if you
years
need
old, and
somebody, I got
Ricky
AJ
Seals-Jones is
Derby.
23, so, like,
I love AJ
feel like-
Derby. I would be open to that.
You would. Let me know in the offseason.
Alright, that sounds good. Yeah,
Do you think,
ever moving forward?
you said, I remember you talking about divisions and divisional power rankings in general chat, and you were saying that the NFC West is next up, behind the NFC North, of course.
Oh no, I was completely shit talking. Our division's trash and easy. If you look at, I don't know the Packers. I'm just saying, it really is.
Will we care to bring in any other
basically-
NFC West users to
No, you
contradict that?
Let me see. Okay, let me say this. Rams, you're pretty good. You're doing all right, man. But you should be a lot better for your roster. You could have got a lot of games to improve on. Your passing game needs improvement. You've been doing pretty good on the run.
I mean,
You
I
should
give
get some
him
improvements.
the best.
Also, can we just take a second to... One second here.
To what? You're
The
taking multiple
49ers
seconds,
have
actually.
let's see, it's the 4th seed in the NFL. They have the
Let me
3rd
see.
seed in the NFC.
Let me see who he's played. The only teams he's beat that shocked me is the Broncos. Let me go ahead and see who he's played. 49ers, I'll tell you this much. He's a pretty good player, but he's not out of the realm for me beating next year. Both games we played and have came down to the final. We went to overtime one time. I took a 10-point lead against him. Both times, in the first game, I had a pick six, user pick six. I got taken back because of roughing the passer. Second game, his running game was all over the place.
All I'm hearing is excuses.
It was destroying me. Listen, I'm just saying,
like,
if I get a good offseason, the distance is not far from me and 49ers. Both
still
games have been
lost.
decided by one-score games.
I
I know, but what I'm saying is the distance is... Say what?
Victor Sherman tore his Achilles in real
Yeah.
life.
In real
Oh,
life?
did he really?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Oh, he's done.
Well, the 49ers are. Yeah, I mean, he tore it last year, didn't he? What did he?
Yep.
What did he hurt last year?
Yeah, it was his,
yeah,
it was
so.
his Achilles, yeah.
Just gonna
He's probably
chime in
done.
real quick. Jermaine Gresham has played the most downs on your team this year.
Oh yeah, he's got an oxygen tank in that little body. It's pretty crazy.
And you know how Luke Wilson made that game that I was playing against the Cardinals? He was like catching passes like it was nothing. He's got to be a free agent. I'm not taking him back. I like what's his face better, Roberts.
I mean, Luke Wilson's fine. I like him too. He's a good pass catching, speedy tight end, so I'm fine with him too.
Not really fast, but.
But anyways,
Not
if you
really
look at the 49ers wins, none of them have been extremely impressive besides the Broncos win.
Yeah, that
so
was pretty impressive in my opinion. I mean,
Yeah.
it seems like you're not very high on the Niners. You know, over
because
the-
I know I can beat him. No, he's a good player because I'm a good player. So the fact that it's close between us, it's good for him. But my team,
Good
the
player
problem
with
is my
29 interceptions.
Huh? Listen.
All right, it's Josh Rosen's fault. We get it. Moving on.
Josh Rosen has made a few mistakes,
Alright.
but a lot of it is
Yeah, let's
user
move on to a
errors,
different
that's
team.
correct.
Let's move on to a different team.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Let's see. We want to talk about the Dolphins a little bit. We can just talk about
Yeah.
the AFC East.
Yeah.
Starting off, I wanted to ask you how you feel about how nobody's been talking about the Dolphins. I think last time I saw you were 7-4. You're gonna clinch your division. You're gonna be in the playoffs. And I just wanted to, how far do you think this team can go?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a little mad we're not talked about. This is probably one of the most interesting teams in the NFL this year, with Ryan Tannehill sitting first in passing yards and fourth in passing touchdowns. Kenyon Drake is a top 10 rusher. Mike Gesicki is an absolute stud. We have a top 5 offense. This should be a team like.
Before anyone
This is
disagrees
like-
with Latham here, let's remember he is the commish, so.
Hey, Week 16 against the Jaguars. Week 17 against the Bills. So if we don't win these next 2 games, I know I got an easy game Week 17 to make the playoffs.
If the Bills win out, I think they can make the playoffs though.
Oh my god.
There is a chance. There is
that
an
is
outside
true.
chance that
If the Bills
If
win
I
out,
win
they
out.
can make the playoffs as long as I don't win.
That's probably the saddest thing I've ever heard in my entire
Oh,
life.
you know what?
But I'm not
No,
even gonna try.
no.
Because you know how much that would screw up my draft position? I would go from
At the
picking,
moment, I have the
6th overall to
tiebreaker.
20th overall, just for making
I
the
Vegas
have
would
the,
go
I have the
bankrupt.
tiebreaker right now on the Bills.
right now.
But,
But if I
um,
win the last game, then I would have the
Congratulations.
tiebreaker
You got a
because of
tiebreaker
the
against the
division
Bills?
record.
Right.
You already won the
So-
Super Bowl.
This is probably the worst division in football.
Probably.
I don't think there's a contest about that. I'm 7-6, but I'm 5-0 in this division.
If you want to talk about the
7 and
worst
6.
division, talk about the best division. All the teams in my division have 10+ wins.
Right.
Oh yeah, we can.
you're
we
sitting at
can-
2-11.
I'm sitting
AFC
there, I'm
North
sitting there
is
at
like
2 and
easily
11.
the best.
Now, this team, obviously a great offensive team, but our defense does need some work, minus our defensive line. Our defensive line is probably the most solid part of the team right now, probably the most intact, and probably what I want to keep around the longest. We got Cameron Wake, who I just signed to a 2-year, $20.6 million deal, 14.5 sacks. Robert Quinn's got 9.5. William Hayes has 9. And Akeem Spence, who's really been turning up the last couple games, has 6.5. I don't think we're a Super Bowl caliber team. I think the farthest we get is the conference championship, and
Okay.
that's even a stretch.
Who's your biggest concern as playoff wise? Who do you think is the biggest threat to you?
Oh man,
Flynn,
probably Texans. I'd probably say Texans, but
they just lost to the Colts though.
right, but they're 10-3. Maybe Bengals. Bengals beat
gonna
us
say
so
Bengals
bad
rush
earlier in
game.
the year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Bengals are kind of.
They put up what 300 rushing
Bengals are
yards
going
on
under
me.
the radar, I think. They're 10-2 right now. Fourth
They
ranked
yeah, they're on
offense.
they're on a 9-game winning streak. They haven't lost a game at
Ah.
home either, so that's huge.
Yeah, and he beat the Ravens, and the Ravens he was going crazy. He was
One of the
cheating
things
and
that's-
cheating and everything.
One of the things that's going to kill us is our penalty yards. We are 3rd in the NFL in terms of most penalty yards, and I chalk that up mostly to Laramie Tunsil. He's been a
Oh.
he's been pretty bad in terms of holding. On the other side of the offensive line, Jawan James, we just signed him to a brand new 4-year, $40.2 million deal, so don't expect to get your hands on him anytime soon. And another player flying under the radar for us is rookie tight end Mike Gesicki. 874 yards, 8 touchdowns, and 52 receptions. Really solid right now. Probably no competition coming into next year. I see him as a long-term option at tight end. Other than that, our red zone defense, that probably needs to improve. Not very good in the red zone. Other than that, that's pretty much it.
Looking forward, that in your division, like, do you think that the Bills can give you a run for your division title next year, or?
I think it all depends on the quarterback play of the Bills. If the Bills get that quarterback spot situated, maybe get some more weapons on offense.
Well, yeah,
I think
I
it'd be
don't think
alright.
the question is the quarterback. The question is the weapons and the offensive line.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, Josh Allen is still a little unproven.
He is, but he's had some good games.
Josh Allen's gonna progress though. The offensive line,
Yeah,
you got
he
your
will.
left tackle, and that seems like it.
One of
Like,
my bigger concerns
I've had
at the
stretch
moment, which
recently
might
good
be a
games.
surprise concern, is Ryan Tannehill. And despite him being top 5 in passing categories this year, he's still only a 75 overall.
I don't think Internet didn't see him as a concern, man. It's okay. You're in the same boat as me.
Right, he's 30 years old. We're gonna probably looking somewhere else within the coming years, whether that's late this year, early next year, late next year.
Player review though.
I might use him for a player review. I probably wouldn't, in all honesty.
Yeah, would you be willing to use, like, give up Mike? Like, you could probably get like Mike Gesicki.
Do one for Mike Gesicki.
If I gave one to Mike Gesicki, that would probably get him up there. He does have quick development already, so I'm not too worried about it. But he is just an awful blocker. So
I have something to say. It's a little bit off topic. Out of all the NFC North starting quarterbacks, who would you say who's the more running quarterback? Probably Mitchell Trubisky.
I'd say Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
But Mitchell
I'd say
Trubisky has
Trubisky.
only 32 rushing yards on this year. He has less than Matthew Stafford and Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has 100 yards.
Yeah, that's just a user
Well,
style, I think. He's
Yeah.
very
You got
poised in the
horses out
pocket.
here, bro.
I just find that funny.
So Kenyon Drake too. I might put him up for player review, even though he is already an 81. He's having a really good year. I think he's top 5 rusher, top 10 rusher, or something like that, with another 300 yards receiving.
Do you think with another year of, like, another off season, you think you can, like, plant yourself as one of the best teams in the league, or?
No, I don't think that. We got 3 teams at the top, or 3 or 4 teams, maybe 5 teams up at the top. How many teams do we have with 10 wins this year? Like 6, 7?
3 in the
Seven-
NFC North.
Yeah.
7 teams. There are 7 teams in the league right now with 10 or more wins. I think, being that if you look purely at record, we're 15th. We're the most mediocre team in the league, probably.
Yeah, you're 7 and
As the Dolphins always are.
Right. So I think this year's definitely out. I think next year, if Tannehill plays the same way and we have a really great offseason, then we could get into the discussion as maybe a sleeper for the Super Bowl. But I think it's a 2-year process, maybe 3 at least.
Yeah, I mean, you got that drop out from your defensive lineman too. I mean, Cam Wakers.
Right. All my defensive linemen are over 30.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a process.
It is. Definitely a process.
Trust the process, man. Trust the process.
Trying to trust it. Speaking of trust the process, in other news, Jimmy Butler got traded to the 76ers.
Bro, I'm a Bulls
Oh.
fan. I'm in pain right now.
Basketball. It's basketball. Guys, we can do a separate team for basketball. I don't do
I've been
basketball.
having it.
I don't do
That's
basketball
fine. We'll
either.
move on.
Alright.
Alright.
I mean,
Wait, when did Lions get in here? Whoa.
he
Been
dropped
here
it about
for
halfway
like
been
10
through.
here.
minutes.
Really?
You mean the worst player in the league? I mean, never mind.
That's the Jets.
Bro, Matthew
That
Stafford
defense.
had like 14 completions, 14 out of 17 completion percentage. That's all I'm saying. He was doing pretty good until he,
Honestly,
threw a pick
Stafford is
across
not
the-
having a
Lions
terrible
just got
season
Eli
considering
Harold.
the Lions are literally last in the league.
How
If you
am I
look at his
last?
stats
How am
real
I
quick.
behind the fucking Jets?
Just
I
they got
beat him.
they got
I beat
You're
him. How
2-11,
does that make
dude.
any sense?
You're 2-11. You've lost more games.
I like how he's arguing how he's
I
the
thought-
second worst team in the league, not the first worst.
I thought he had 2 wins. Yeah. Oh, he had his bye. That's why. He had 2.
Bro,
he had his
I
bye.
swear, I'm at least the 31st best team in the league, bro. Give me credit.
If we're
Lions,
talking
who do you play
purely
next week?
user,
Who do you
I
play the
played
next 2
Flynn.
weeks?
I play Flynn in the Tank Bowl.
Oh yeah, that's gonna
That's
be a
gonna be a
tank
fun
bowl for
game
the
to
ages.
watch.
The battle of 2-11 and 3-9.
I'm just saying,
The-
you just lost to Tank
the
Bull,
tanks will be
41
legendary.
and 10, so that's a problem. You allowed
So,
Josh Rosen to
do you
get 5
think-
touchdowns.
Do you think we'll be seeing?
It's
a,
my
game
defense,
being
man. They
played
suck.
there, or
He
pretty
kept beating every fucking corner I had. Every other corner that was like he beat Darius Slay once because it was fucking whoever number 10 is.
Jesus.
Chad Williams, the ultimate Chad. You already know.
What a
No,
legend.
it was also Sheffield too. Dude, Chad Williams, I mean, he may have like 10 yards total this season, but I tell you, dude, he schlongs the crap out of corners. He gives him the big schlong, the Chad, the ultimate Chad.
The
He's
big
also good at check
schlong.
You're picking my other corners apart. That's the problem. You're just picking my other
Dude,
corners.
Larry Fitzgerald was on wheels, bro. I'll tell you, he probably hit at least 7 miles per hour. He was kicking it, bro. Darius Slay his ankles were destroyed. It was pretty sad. Made your lines look like little kitties. Pretty bad, dude.
Hey, how about your
Catbirds.
guys being on?
All right, let's move on.
Alright.
Let's move on. We got 2 more things that I kind of want to talk about. We need to talk about the Cardinals' idea for the end of the season, and then also I kind of want to talk about the yearly awards race for like defensive rookie of the year. and
Awards
stuff.
race. That's a good point.
Right
We're
now,
just
I would
really
like to
inflated
see
by the
who
Ravens.
Aaron
Madden
Rodgers
has.
and Aaron Jones are in the lead for the MVP race. And then
Now,
Deshaun Watson
what's
and
probably
Whitney
going to
Merciless
happen
are
is
second.
we're probably not going to use the Madden's yearly awards.
We aren't.
I know the Xbox League picks their own MVPs and they vote on it themselves. So
Well, I mean,
I don't know
that's
if-
probably what's
even
going to
if
end
you
up
did-
happening.
Even if you were gonna vote, I mean, would you really like not give it to either Aaron Jones or Aaron Rodgers? I mean, Aaron
You
Jones.
probably wouldn't end
everyone-
up giving it to Aaron Jones. You would probably give
I
it to
just-
Aaron Rodgers.
I just noticed something in the NFC Defensive Player of the Year. Marcus Golden isn't even in the top 10.
Really?
Good.
Well,
Really?
he's one of the best. He was one of the best defensive linemen, though. But going
He's
back to
got 21
MVP, I feel
sacks.
like Deshaun Watson deserves it a little more because I think he carries the offense more than
he
Aaron Rodgers
definitely
does.
deserves it
If he
more.
has the
That's
first
true.
and second MVP, then you don't really have an MVP or whatever. It kind of goes back to the Warriors or whatever. It doesn't make any sense, you know. Honestly, if Aaron Jones is getting 300 yards a game, that takes a lot of weight off your shoulders as a quarterback. And if your quarterback's Aaron Rodgers, it takes a lot of weight off your shoulders as a running back. So honestly, I think
Yeah,
Deshaun
I mean-
Watson deserves it more than anybody, period.
I agree.
But then Whitney
What's
Merciless
Deshaun
is there.
Watson doing right now?
They have an all-pro left tackle, David Bakhtiari. I mean, their offense is loaded. Deshaun Watson's been doing it with.
Deshaun Watson's got pretty good stats. I don't know how he's rushing. He's got
I will say-
451 rushing yards and a touchdown,
Jesus Christ.
3,107 yards, 36 touchdowns on 64% completion.
He almost has more carries than David Johnson, probably. So, you know.
He has more
Not
rushing
carries,
yards than
though.
David Johnson.
No, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. You have rushing yards. So, exactly.
Lamar Miller's not having a bad year either.
Yeah, I mean, also Deshaun Watson is already in the lead for Offensive Player of the Year in the AFC. So even if he doesn't win MVP, he's gonna get some
But he
XP
should, in
love
my
there.
opinion.
Aaron Jones has 1,400 yards and 17 touchdowns.
Bro,
Yeah.
I know he's having a Todd Gurley-esque year, bro. He's going crazy.
That is
That man
way
is-
better than Todd Gurley.
In real life, I'm talking about.
Oh,
bro, that circle button he
Still.
uses with Aaron Jones brings sexual assault charges to the table. I'm saying it's pretty bad.
36
Whenever you-
broken tackles, 208 yards after contact. He's had a 100-yard run. That's
Also,
insane.
can we-
Ty
can we
Montgomery
talk
even.
about Tremaine
that was
Edmonds
against me.
has been the
I had him at the
beast.
1 yard
Rams
line. It
doesn't
was
have a
before half.
500 yard receiver. What the fuck?
I'll tell you what, this Packers user is something special. If he
He
is
is.
not the best player in the league, then he's
Bears is.
One or
Mark my
two.
words.
It's
Bears is
honestly
definitely
between
much
Bears and Packers right now. I
think
can't wait
it's
for
the
them to
Packers.
play. Bears
I think it's
is
got to be
undefeated
Packers
right
just
now.
because of
Well, the
pure
Bears
stats,
user.
but I could also see it being Bears just because he has a worse
Bears
team.
is a really good user, and when Packers played the Vikings and he played me, he's not invulnerable to user picks, you know. So I feel Bears is the best user in the league. So I feel like that's the difference right there.
I
The
mean,
reason why he lost to
honestly,
the
I'm not
Vikings
gonna
was
say
Vikings
who's
were
I'm looking
best
at
right
his
now,
stats right now.
'cause the
To
current Bears
me,
user
I
does
gotta
not
give
play
it
the
to the
current backup
Packers
user.
just because the Bears' leading receiver is Trey Burton. He has 38 more receptions than second place.
Do you want to bet money on
I would know, but
it?
I mean, when your tight end has 38 more receptions than your best receiver, it's
He
a little sketch.
only has 13 less receiving yards than Michael Thomas, who's the second leading receiver in the NFC.
Right. And it's Trey Burton. It's not like we're talking about
And he's
Travis
still fourth in
Kelce.
the entire league too.
Well, it's because if you don't cover his couch tight ends, he's gonna keep exploiting you. If you cover,
At least he's
you
not
probably got
Buck
something
Allen.
else. True.
Buck Allen, 84 receptions. You gotta be shitting me.
Yeah, we need to talk. We need to have a discussion with the
We'll
Ravens
talk
user
about that in the LO. That's
Yeah, that's not
we
podcast.
can't do anything right now. We probably have to wait till the end of the season.
It's probably going to be a fine and the suspension will start next year, but
It's
we'll see.
it's getting so bad we might have to act during the season and just suspend him for the rest of the season at some point just because it's getting that bad. I'm not going to talk about it in front of everybody else just because it's not our
Yeah.
business.
It's
But
fine.
I'm
Let's
going to go
see.
take a look at statistics and the rules real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, this is
Check out
something we can talk
Ezekiel
about in the
Elliott's
board
stats.
meeting. We don't need to talk about it in the podcast. Let's see. Anything else?
So
I
an
think we got
example.
through all our
So
topics.
hold on, we are gonna have to talk about Bears real quick, and I just want to bring this up just so everybody knows, and just so if Bears watches this, he knows. Right now, what he's doing with Trey Burton would be considered stat padding. It is right under the rules that says your tight end is among the top players in the league in receptions or yardage, and he's top in the league in both,
Yeah,
which is going to be
fourth in yards. and I
close,
wanna
if
say
not
third in
is,
receptions.
stat padding. So
Yeah.
that's going to be a big issue.
I'm joining a party
But
with
he's
him
like
after
having
this,
like
so
a
I can tell him.
Gronk type year. He's like having like a Gronk year though.
Didn't Hawking have a tight end that did like that, like last like year or something like that? Didn't he?
I don't know.
Pretty sure Hawking did.
He never really used his tight end. I don't
Yeah, not in Seattle. He's using Charles Claymore because he's Buffalo, and he has no other
And
weapons.
he has like no
but-
receivers whatsoever.
Yeah.
So he kind of has to.
I mean, that's what you kind of do when,
And-
when your number one option is Calvin
And I
Benjamin.
mean, you could really say that about the Bears too, because Allen Robinson's really his only other option, and he. Still
I mean,
has
if you look at
500
Mitchell
yards.
Trubisky in real life, he goes to Trey Burton nearly all the time. If you look at him in real
Yeah.
life. So
Right, but when it's 38 more receptions
that's
than
fair.
your next receiver,
That's a fair point.
almost 500 yards. Let's take a look at the Bears stats IRL real quick.
Mhm.
I'm just pulling it up. Give me a sec.
I got him right here. We're looking at receiving yards, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Trey Burton's got twice as many yards as Allen Robinson, and pretty much twice as many as Taylor Gabriel. They're both at sitting about 500, and Trey Burton's got 1,000.
Trey Burton has
Suspended.
1,000 IRL right now.
Yep. No, not in
I
real
don't
life,
even-
but
Oh, what was I
in the
saying?
league. he's
Oh,
got
I'm
1,000.
looking for IRL.
Oh, okay.
Oh, here.
Right now, IRL, Trey Burton has 29 receptions with 371 yards. If you compare that, how many games have there been? How many games have they played? What are they, 5 and 3? Yeah, they've played
10,
8 games.
Eight or nine.
They've played 8 games.
5 and 3, yeah. They've had their bye already.
So, Trey Burton, IRL, is on pace for 58 receptions. Trey Burton in Madden has already
78.
broken that by 20.
Yep.
Trey
Suspend
Burton,
him.
IRL, is on pace for 742 yards. Trey Burton in Madden has broken that by almost 250.
I feel like this is also kind of like the Allen discussion. This is something the LO is going to discuss in their next meeting, which I think is Monday. It was supposed to be yesterday. I don't know. There was miscommunication. It will get dealt with. That's all I'm going to say.
We'll definitely talk about this. If there's
Comparing it
any
to, like, a
issues you guys want
roster-
the LO to talk about, we definitely can. Anything internally or with another team, just bring it to us personally. Don't mention it.
I mean, you could say he's
No, I'm
having,
not gonna-
like, a
don't bring
ridiculous
Henry
year
here
for
right
a
now.
tight end because Zach Ertz is
Alright.
doing like the exact same thing in real life, though.
The problem is, it directly states in the rules that you cannot have your tight end in the top of the league for receptions and yards.
Yeah,
Alright,
in real life right now, Zach
this
Ertz
is starting to
has
get into a
61
debate about roles and
receptions.
stuff, so I'm gonna end the podcast here. It's good.
Oh,
Thank you guys all for coming out.
Thank you.
I'm
Discuss
gonna be
these
going live
topics
in a
on
few
later
minutes
podcast.
probably with the Bills vs Jets game, if any of you want to tune in for that. Other than that, yeah. Cutting the stream off now.